What in the world is happening with King County real estate? Oh, check it out, people. All right, we're going to start here on my favorite graph, supply and demand. As we say around here, not just a good idea, it's the law. So you can see a couple of things. The green are the inventory, the new listings that came on any given month in the last 5 years. And the blue are the pending, the ones that sold during that month, the ones that went under contract in that month for the last 5 years. So a couple of things to just look at, understand about all of this. All right. You can see a couple of things. So the numbers, I'm just checking. There were 3,735 homes put on the market, new listings in June of this year. That is the most homes in June really since 2016, really all the way back here. There's 2016 had almost the same number in June. The green up here. Sorry, here it is. The green 3,735, exactly the same number in 2016. So 5 years ago, same number of homes. So what you want to take away from this is inventory is about the way it's been for the last 5 years. Last year, an anomaly. Pandemic, not a lot of people sold their houses. People are selling their houses at the same rate as historically they have in Seattle, in King County, over the last 5 years. This is normal inventory. What's become normal. All right. But it's not normal buyers. The demand is up. We've got 3,300 pending in June, and that is the most pending in June of the last 6 years by about 20%. 20%, somewhere between 15 and 25. So I'm just saying 20. Over the last 5 years, it's 20% more buyers. So in the law of supply and demand, supply is pretty normal. Demand is up by 20%. That's why you're seeing this graph of the average percent over the original price. You're up to 7% over original price, right? 6.6% in June. That's a little bit down off of May, right? Because inventory went up. But that's the most it's been over the last 5 years. You don't get that high. 5% was in April of 2018. And I know no one remembers this, but it's true. In 2019, we went below asking price. And we were below asking price for most of 2019 and good way into 2020. Now, what did that look like in supply and demand? Well, in 2019, look at all that supply. We went over 4,000 houses in May of 2019. That additional supply drove prices below asking price. The demand was about the same as it ever was, around 3,300, around 3,000, was even a little bit low in 2019. So what does that portend for the future? Well, inventory, the green here, is normal, we can predict that, hey, all things being equal, we'll see a fairly normal increase in July and like that. What's demand going to do? That's the big question. So interest rates are low now. How long do they stay low? The Fed hasn't really given straight guidance on that, but we do know that inflation is kicking up, which would indicate a pending rise in interest rates. If interest rates rise, affordability goes down, buyers are going to go down. If people panic and put their houses on, inventory has a chance to go up. Inventory going up, buyers going down, that means decreasing sale price. But you should know that most of the time in this area, we're over asking price. We're somewhere that we're usually 2, 3, 4 offers. Now we're 5, 6, 7, 8 offers. That's not going away this month, but I would look for July, August, and September. If the buyers fade, you should see drop from 7% over asking price to maybe 2% over asking price on average in this area, which means way less competition, which means you should be able to find a bargain here and there. And if things get nuts, right, and a lot of houses come on the market, Like here, you could see houses selling for under asking price like in 2019. 2019 wasn't that long ago, folks. It's not like, oh, that's ancient history. No, that's just pre-pandemic. It's not that wild to think you could see that. So is that going to happen? I don't know. My crystal ball broke a while ago, so I don't really know. But what I can see is that inventory is going up. That's a positive sign for buyers. It's going to be more competition if you're selling. Buyers are still super strong. Are they going to just fall off the cliff? I don't see why they just fall off the cliff. But there are some signs of buyer fatigue. Interest rates tick up. Buyers are going to thin out. That could lead to lower prices, at least less over asking than we are now. Over asking is pretty normal for our area. So I don't think we're getting to a buyer's market anytime soon, but you never do know. The future really is uncertain. So if you're selling, I would get it to market ASAP. I would take advantage of these. There's very little indication that it's going to get to be a better seller's market than it is now. And so if you were selling, I would do it now. If you're buying, sit tight. I think you might have some more opportunities come later summer, early fall. We'll see what happens. Okay. Anyway, if you have questions about your particular situation, that's what I'm here for. I'm Aaron Hendon with Christine Company over at eXp Realty. Call me, text me, message me, write me, smoke signals, whatever. Share this, like it, comment, all that stuff. Okay. Anyway, it's great talking to you. Let me know what I can do for you. Bye. What in the world is happening with Tacoma real estate? You got to check this out. This is crazy town. Tacoma, crazy town. What you're looking at are the supply and demand graphs, my favorite graphs. And we're looking at the last 5 years of inventory, that's the green, supply, demand, blue, pending, the number of homes that went under contract any given month over the last 5 years. And what's super interesting is you see a really steady pattern in 2016, 17, 18, and 19. Really steady. Increases of inventory to 2,000, maybe 2,200 up. Demand right around the 1,500 mark, no problem, year in, year out. And if you look, you can see in the price graph, that puts us, at 100% of asking price and under, and 100% and under, and 101% and under, and 102%. So there's a rhythm to that. But then look what happens over the last 2 years since 2019. Normal 2019, gets up to around 100% of asking price and then dips back down. Pretty normal. Then pandemic time, up, 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 up. And now we're at 5% over asking. And if you look, here's what that looks like in terms of supply and demand. What's interesting about this is that you've got as small of a gap between supply and demand as you've had since pre-pandemic. During the pandemic, you actually had a negative gap, meaning more homes sold than were put on the market that given month. Right now, in June, there were 147 more homes put on the market than sold, right? Out of the 1,800 or so, there were 147 more put on the market than sold, which is as fewer than any other month. Normal June's 400, 500, 400 in 2016, 17, and 18. Then in 2019, you start to get a dip around 200. The pandemic threw everything out of whack. So you've got a situation where the supply is pretty average for this time of year. And the demand, though, is over normal. That, in fact, those two things are meeting, which is what is driving these prices up. Okay? Over asking price, bidding wars, things like that, 5%. That's intense. Now, is that the beginning of a new pattern where it's going to go up and down around there? We don't know. We're going to have to see. Does the pandemic then create a situation in Tacoma or South Sound where you're going to see consistently 5% over asking, or is supply going to spike up and demand come back down. We're going to need to watch it. But right now in Tacoma, what you've got is a strong seller's market with no indication that the buyers are slowing down at all, really. So if you're going to sell, this is the time to put it on market because you've got super high demand with average to under average supply. If you're looking to buy, it is a tough road to farming. It is a tough road to hoe. And I don't have any evidence right now that the South Sound market is going to be opening up. It might. We could get a big boost in inventory, but we were at 1,800 last month. We're pretty close to that number here. Now maybe, August heats up. Is this August? That's July. Maybe this month that's June in 2018. That's exactly sort of, the number. So we'll need to see what happens over the next couple of months. But I don't have a lot of faith that this is going to be turned in the favor of the buyers anytime soon. So if you're selling, let's get it to market. If you're buying, keep hunting, hoard your cash, make strong, smart offers. Let me know if you have questions about your situation. I'd love to help you. My name's Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Message me, like this, share it, email me, whatever you need to do, right? But let me know what I can do for you. All right? I'll talk to you soon. Bye. What in the world is happening with Vashon Real Estate? This is nuts. Check it out. All right. This is what you're looking at is the last 5 years in supply listings coming to market every month for the last 5 years. Now, there's a relatively simple pattern in 2016, 17, 18, 19, right before the pandemic, where, we get up to, 30, 35 listings sometime in June. That's pretty predictable that over the summer months, we're going to hit our peak in listings and it'll be 30, 35, something like that. Then the pandemic happened. Everything goes out the window. We barely get to 25, right? And that's sort of pre-pandemic, right, in April. And then everything falls off the cliff. And it hasn't come back. We're at 14 in June, half of where we normally are at this time of year. Half. That makes for a really, really, really hard buyer's market. You can't find a house out here if you're buying. I know I'm shopping with 3 families. It's crazy. And when you add in check this out. When you add in the number of homes that were sold, look at this. It completely takes out of the equation any of the available inventory. Look at that. There were 16 homes sold in June with only 14 new ones coming to market. That is that's as more demand than there is supply, which means what happens to the price graph? Whoop, it goes up. So you can see over the last 5 years, pretty predictable, in the winter months we go over asking, and then the summer we go under asking, and it's, pretty lines up with the supply and demand because supply and demand, right? And then you see this year, holy cow, we got all the way up to 115% of asking price, 114% over asking price, 14% over asking. We're still over asking now. The movement here is as much of a function of there's limited inventory, limited data as anything. It's, hot properties are going over asking. Properties that start out overpriced or not of particular interest don't. But overall, we're talking super hot seller's market. If you have a home and you're thinking about selling on Vashon, you should count on getting way over asking price and it being sold really quickly. If you're buying, stay patient, my friends. I don't know when this comes back. This is really a function of supply. That means people need to decide to move off the island. There's very little construction. You're not talking about getting new inventory. You need people that are saying, all right, we're ready to move off the island. It's literally the only way this is going to happen. And, we're half of where we were. It's not some huge increase in demand here. Demand's not any higher than it normally is. It's just there's no supply. And that leads to this. So if you have questions about your situation, right? If you want to know, look, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Nobody does. In fact, if you got someone who's telling you what's going to happen in the future, like, oh, the fall, the market's going to, they're making it up, literally making it up. No idea what's going to happen in the future. No one does. No one ever does. Okay. So what's happening now is if you're selling, get it to market soon, because how much better is it going to get? And if you're buying, you find something you want, all in, or don't bother going, or sit tight. Could be a long wait. We don't know. All right. So let's see what happens. If you have questions about your situation, let me know. I'm here to help. My name's Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Message me, share this, like it, comment, do all that good social media stuff, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. What in the world is happening with Kitsap and Bainbridge real estate? Ho, ho, ho! Check it out, people. All right, what you're looking at is supply and demand, my favorite graphs. The green is the supply inventory, homes that came on the market any given month for the last 5 years. Count them, 5. And the blue are the homes that went under contract in any given month in that same time period. And you can see clearly in Kitsap County that the blues are overtaking the greens. That is, the demand is outpacing the supply, or at the very least, it's catching up to it in a way that it hasn't. So you look at 2016, 17, 18, 19, you can see that in the summer months, you wound up with a lot more inventory than there was demand. Demand would go up, but there'd always be a bunch more inventory than sold. Not true during the pandemic, right? The pandemic sort of knocked that way out of whack. People stopped listing their houses. And while it's coming back a little bit, it's not coming back to the point that it was, and the buyer demand is up. So the gap between buyers and sellers is closing, meaning prices are going up. It's particularly relevant and pointed. I think it's super interesting, this relationship. If you look at Bainbridge, which is half King County, half Kitsap County. But if you just look at Bainbridge, look at that, where you have had in the past ample inventory, 2016, not so much in 2017, but 2018, 2019, a lot more. No extra inventory on Bainbridge. None. Prices are going nuts on Bainbridge. And unless we get up to 60, 70, 80 houses again available on any given month, new listings in any given month, it's unlikely to change. So if you're selling on Bainbridge, I would recommend you sell now, because it's not going to get a whole lot better than that graph, than the supply being under the demand. How's it going to get better? And if you're waiting to buy, you really do need to wait to buy. You got to wait till there's 60 houses coming on the market during a month, 70 houses. And if interest rates tick up, it'll knock the buyers off. You'll be able to afford less, but there'll be less competition. You got to sort of hang in there and wait. Or all your chips in the middle. Shop way under your price point and push all your chips in the middle, because there's just no inventory to buy. Bainbridge in particular. But again, if you just go back to the Kitsap graph, it's not like a whole lot better anyplace else in Kitsap County. It's not like all of a sudden, you're talking about a ton more inventory. So everything from from Bremerton, that whole area, super tight right now. Maybe we get up over 600 homes. Maybe buyers tap out at 500, give you some kind of leeway over the next couple of months. That could happen in Kitsap in general. Not looking so good for our Bainbridge buyers. Looking perfect for our Bainbridge sellers. Let me know what questions you have about the market. Let me know what you need about your circumstance. I'm here to help. Let me know what I can do for you. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Talk to you soon. Bye.